Hey ho, and what you know, welcome everybody to the first edition of the Balkin Up Podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and in this episode, I'm going to be doing something that I have always wanted to do, and I've never had the time to put this all together, but this is my top 45 free agency ranking and predictions on where they are going to go. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video. And if you're listening on our podcast channel, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We got plenty of content coming your way, including top 10 trades we all want to see. Well, at least I'd like to see. I think a lot of you guys might agree with it. And more importantly, a series I'm going to be working on that's going to be a lot of fun, how I would fix every team in Major League Baseball. And the first team we are going to do is a team that I feel is completely dysfunctional and a team that's in a major change, that needs a major change, and that is the Los Angeles Angels. What would I do? Would I trade Shohei and Trout? Would I build around them? I don't know. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast, and hope you guys enjoy. At number 45, we got Aroldis Chapman. I got him going to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona's made it clear they need bullpen help. And Chapman's that high risk, high reward type guy that, you don't know what you're going to get, especially ever since the whole sticky stuff went away. He hasn't been the same pitcher, but if Arizona can find him out, they may have that high leverage ninth inning guy in their bullpen that might help them take that next step. At number 44, we got Taylor Rogers. Now, I got him going to the Texas Rangers. The Rangers have made it clear they are going to be targeting pitching, and more pitching. Maybe some bats thrown in here and there. That might be a trend you guys might be finding out throughout this video and podcast. But Taylor Rogers, I got him going to the Rangers. He's a guy that's been used in high leverage situations for both the Twins, the Padres, and the Brewers. So this is a guy that may not be the best on the market, but he's got valuable experience that really the Rangers could use in that back end of the bullpen. If not, they may want to look into some trades. At number 43, we got Jurickson Profar going back to the Texas Rangers, and they need a left fielder. They absolutely need a left fielder. Profar showed he could play some left field. And I actually think with his versatility, this would be something that would be very much welcomed in Texas going forward for the Rangers. At number 42, we already got this one wrong. I originally had Rafael Montero going to the Arizona Diamondbacks with Aroldis Chapman, but instead Jeff Passan has broke that he has signed a 3-year, $30-some million contract with the Houston Astros. I mean, this is a great fit for him to go back to Houston. I thought Arizona would be perfect for him, giving him high leverage stuff and maybe willing to pay him. But as it says right there, we're wrong already. At number 41, we got Colton Wong, and I got him going to the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox are already calling teams about second base help. And why not look to Colton Wong? He hit 29 homers the last 2 years in Milwaukee, is a former Gold Glover. I mean, why not take a look at Colton Wong for the Boston Red Sox? Would fit beautifully with them. At number 40, we got Corey Kluber, the veteran, going to the Atlanta Braves. I know some people would say, well, maybe he could go back to Cleveland. Maybe he can go back to Tampa. Maybe even Texas would make a little bit of sense here as well. But I think Corey Kluber goes to the Atlanta Braves, adds in our veteran to that rotation, who can be kind of in that back end, can provide solid relief. Well, he could do some relief, but he could help out the relief staff by going and eating those 5-6 innings that they're hoping to get out of their starters. At number 39, I got Sean Manaea going to the San Francisco Giants. I don't think Rodon is coming back, so why not look for a cheaper alternative? Manaea did not have a great year in San Diego last year. He has had some injury concerns in his career, but when he's been healthy, he's been a solid innings eater for teams. So this is a guy that maybe the Giants might say, hey, you know what? Might be on the cheaper side, might get a replacement for Rodon, and we can still win going forward. At number 38, we got Michael Wacha going to the Minnesota Twins. the Twins cannot ignore that they need pitching help this offseason. They got to stop beating around the bush and go and get some pitching help. Joe Ryan did break out, which is great, but they have some free agent pitchers. I think they are best suited to go after some this offseason. Michael Wacha pitched very well in Boston last year, and I think a lot of people might expect he could return to Boston, but I think this is something where I think the Twins could sneak in and go and get someone like Michael Wacha. At number 37, we got Jock Peterson going to the San Francisco Giants. And this is basically because he was offered the qualifying offer, and I just don't see anyone paying the price that's going to take him to get away from San Francisco. I had Detroit getting him, but at the end of the day, with the qualifying offer and everything, makes too much sense. And number two, he'd be a fool not to take it after one big year in San Francisco. At number 36, we got Trey Mancini going to my Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians need a first baseman that can mash lefties, maybe a guy who can play some outfield, and that's what Mancini does. And he's a great veteran leader in the clubhouse. The Guardians value those type of things. Going back all those years ago, when we go to the 2016 team, they signed Juan Uribe just to be a veteran leader. This is a guy who's going to be a great veteran leader, provides what they need at first base to kind of take this pressure off of Josh Naylor, and would be a great fit into this lineup. Trey Mancini to my Guardians. We got Kenley Jansen in at number 35. I know a lot of people say it's really low for someone like him, but I got him staying with the Atlanta Braves. Almost said Boston Braves there for a minute. But anyways, Kenley Jansen, I think Texas is the main threat for the Atlanta Braves. But I just think there's no allure of winning right now. And that's where I think Kenley Jansen decides, you know what? Even if it means taking a little bit of less money, I'm going to stay with the Atlanta Braves and have a chance to win another World Series. We got Michael Conforto going to the Detroit Tigers. Yes, the Tigers get Conforto. I know a lot of teams could go after him, but I think this is one of those one-year deal type things where Conforto is going to want to prove himself, unless if somebody comes in and makes a huge, ridiculous offer with him coming off his shoulder surgery. The Tigers had historically bad offense. Conforto is a guy who has hit 30 homers in the past. He's almost done it twice. He had 28 one year as well with the Mets. Could see even a Mets reunion as well. But I think Conforto to the Tigers makes a lot of sense, adds a solid bat in that lineup that they desperately need to fill out. At number 33, we got Brandon Drury going to my Guardians. Yes, the Guardians are actually spending some money. Drury, I don't know what his contract's going to look like. If it's on the more expensive side, maybe I'll be wrong on this one. But in terms of fit, he fits so well with what the Guardians need, a utility guy with a bat. Owen Miller did not get the job done last year. He is a guy that I think could be on their 40-man chopping block. But Brandon Drury checks off all the boxes, can play a little bit of first, can play some of the outfield, can play third, and give Jose Ramirez days off that he desperately could need during the year. The Guardians, I think, go get Brandon Drury. At number 32, we got Joey Gallo going to the Tampa Bay Rays. This is the perfect fit. The perfect fit for Joey Gallo. A team that does not mind about him striking out a lot, hitting home runs, loving his glove. He's a versatile defender. I mean, the only thing I ask is, can someone teach this guy how to play first base, please? Because he might be a great first baseman. We just don't know it. But I got Joey Gallo going to the Tampa Bay Rays. At number 31, we got Justin Turner going to the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee could use some of that versatility, his bat and leadership. I mean, at the end of the day, it depends on what is Milwaukee going to do. Could the Dodgers still get him? Absolutely. But right now, I'm going to say Milwaukee gets him, gets that leadership, and tries to buy in while they still have Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, and Freddie Peralta in that rotation. You got to do something with those guys topping your rotation. At number 30, we got Michael Brantley going to the Seattle Mariners. Fun fact, his dad was a Seattle Mariner at one point. This could be a legacy play for Brantley. I think he could be a solid DH veteran leader for that team that has a former teammate Carlos Santana at first base. Make him a guy that just hits righties as a DH and teaches those young outfielders, just how to win in the playoffs, because he's been there. He's been with the Indians / Guardians. He was an Indian, but now they're the Guardians. I know it's still weird, but he was an Indian and won there and has won with the Astros. He knows what it takes. Would be a perfect veteran addition for the Seattle Mariners while returning to his dad's old team. At number 29, we got Ross Stripling staying with the Toronto Blue Jays. And Ross Stripling, he pitched very well for Toronto last year and is due for a big payday. I could see him having a very healthy market, but I think Toronto would prefer to not see him walk out the door. Just a great veteran for them to have in that rotation, and fills out that rotation so well. I think instead of maybe paying for an Andrew Heaney, they would probably rather go with the guy that they have had in Ross Stripling for next year. At number 28, we got Nathan Eovaldi, who hasn't signed his qualifying, but he was offered his qualifying offer with the Boston Red Sox, and I think he signs it, honestly. There's no reason for him not to. I think he will have a fairly healthy market, but, with the injury concerns, yes, he's been productive when healthy, but with the injury concerns, I think he might be wise to take that one-year deal with Boston. Plus, I also don't see Boston really letting Nathan Eovaldi getting away when they really would prefer to compete next year. At number 27, I got Andrew Benintendi going to the Miami Marlins. Yes, the Marlins, who need outfield help. He's a good defender. High contact here is what they value. This is a guy that fits very well in Miami. I could see him going to a couple of other different teams. Colorado could fly in here and steal him. Detroit makes sense. Chicago makes a ton of sense, meaning the White Sox. Even Texas makes a ton of sense. But I think at the end of the day, Miami gets their big splash and goes and gets Andrew Benintendi. At number 26, Mike Zunino going to my Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians have signed 3 players. Stop the presses. The Dolans are spending money and Cleveland is burning down to the ground. No, at the end of the day, Mike Zunino is the guy that I think Cleveland ends up getting to be their catcher. Yes, there is the Sean Murphy element that they could trade for him. But I think in terms of finding a guy who's going to fit over the next couple of years while Bo Naylor gets ready, Mike Zunino, great defender, big time power. He has hit 30 homers in the past. He will make fans forget Austin Hedges. And more importantly, he's handled great pitching staffs in the past, which is something Cleveland values as much as anything at the catcher position. At number 25, Christian Vazquez. I have him staying right there in Houston. Yes, I really do think that Christian Vazquez stays in Houston. He was outstanding for them when he was acquired, and he was a big part of why they won that World Series, calling some great games with Martin Maldonado. I think they keep both of them there and have one of the best catching duos in the American League. He hits well, calls a good game. You want to know what? I definitely think Christian Vazquez stays in Houston. At number 24, we got Noah Syndergaard going to the Minnesota Twins. Yes, Thor is going north to Minnesota. I know a lot of people might say, well, what about Texas? What about these other teams? I think the Twins are going to be aggressive in free agency, trying to improve their pitching. And Thor looked good last year, and he stayed healthy. May not have the same stuff as he did with the Mets, but man, if he's even that same pitcher that he was this last year for the Twins could be in very much better shape than what they were last year with their rotation, and would be a welcome addition to that team. At number 23, I got Jose Quintana going to the New York Mets. Quintana had a great year between Pittsburgh and St. Louis last year, and I think the Mets will come calling. They got a bunch of free agent pitchers. Would not shock me in the least if they lose a couple of those pitchers and they go aggressively at these second-tier pitchers. And I think Jose Quintana is going to fit very well into that rotation and would be a nice piece if they were to lose one of those guys. At number 22, I got Zach Eflin staying with the Philadelphia Phillies. sometimes it's more of a gut reaction for me. I don't think Elfin's really going to go anywhere. He did a good job of the bullpen. He still can start. He can still fill out that rotation. I think the Phillies are going to try to keep as much of that team together going into next year. At number 21, Tyler Anderson, I have staying in LA. Yes, he signed the qualifying offer, which may scare some teams away with the new structure of the qualifying offer penalties for that. But I do think he ends up staying in Los Angeles. It's one of those things where, if you find yourself somewhere, why would you want to leave if the money is there? So this is one of those situations where I think Tyler Anderson pitched great in Los Angeles, has found something there. Why leave? At number 20, I got Kodai Senga from Japan going to the San Diego Padres. A lot of teams are interested. Toronto is very, very interested in him. I think both LA teams will be very interested. Boston will be very heavily interested, needing a true ace. But I think he goes to the Padres, and I think Yu Darvish plays a huge role in getting him to San Diego. And remember, San Diego has a lot of free agent pitchers available. Clevenger, Minaya. They need another pitcher to fill out that rotation if they want to have a chance to go back to the NLCS. At number 19, I got Jameson Taillon going to the Los Angeles Angels. This is a typical Angels move. Buying into a guy who had one or two solid years and thinking he can be an ace. And he still can. I'm not saying Jameson Taillon can't. I think he's a middle of the rotation starter, guy that the Angels are going to obviously buy into and saying they need pitching, and that's their big free agency acquisition. Does he turn into what we all thought he could have been as a top prospect? Probably not. Is he a middle rotation starter? Sure. Is he overpaid? If he goes to the Angels, probably. At number 18, I got Martin Perez staying with the Texas Rangers, and that's basically because the qualifying offer's there. He pitched outstanding with Texas. Texas is going to make a real attempt to improve this rotation from the top down. Is that foreshadowing? Who knows? But I think Martin Perez stays in Texas. He has something there. He pitched great with them. I just don't see a reason for him to leave. At number 17, we got Jose Abreu going to the San Diego Padres. Yes, I got him going to the Padres. And here's the thing. I love Jose Abreu, and I would love him on my Guardians. I think multiple teams are going to be interested. But with the Padres losing Josh Bell, needing a first base DH, I think they go out and get a big thumper that's going to fill the void while Fernando Tatis Jr. is out. And when he comes back, they're going to have one of the best lineups in the National League. Jose Abreu to the Padres. But I will say, watch out for the Rays. Just saying. At number 16, we got J.D. Martinez going to the New York Mets. They were heavily interested on him, and I really do think J.D. would be a great fit as their DH. I don't think they really have had a DH there. Yeah, you got prospects like Mark Vientos. You got Brett Beatty. You've got, Alvarez, but he's going to be your catcher coming up soon. I think J.D. fills in that DH role for the next couple of years while they figure out who's the DH going forward, probably a Brett Beatty type. And, the Mets get a great veteran who can hit 30 home runs. At number 15, we got Josh Bell going to the Houston Astros. And this is my sleeper pick of free agency. Josh Bell would fit so well in Houston. I mean, defensively, maybe not what they had before, but offensively would be probably an improvement. And it could be an even bigger improvement than we think. Him in that lineup with Bregman, Alvarez, Altuve protecting him. And if they re-sign Vasquez, it's going to be one of the more dangerous lineups in baseball on a team that is looking to repeat. All right. At number 14, we got Anthony Rizzo going to the New York Yankees. Look, they offered the qualifying offer. I just don't see him leaving. Cleveland makes a ton of sense if they could pull it off. But I think with that stadium in New York being so friendly to left-handed hitters, if I'm Anthony Rizzo, I'm a fool to walk away from the Yankees. At number 13, I got Mitch Haniger going to the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox need a right fielder, and Mitch Haniger is that guy. I think Mitch Haniger, even though he had some injuries last year, he still had a great year in 2021 and was good for Seattle this past year. would give Seattle one of the best offensive trios for outfielders in the American League, but they all get injured. But it would be a risk worth taking because if they're all healthy, that might be one of the best trios that we will see in the majors next year. At number 12, I got Chris Bassitt going to the St. Louis Cardinals. It's no secret the Cardinals need another pitcher, and Bassitt just seems like a perfect Cardinal. He seems like that Cardinals pitcher that, isn't sexy, but he just gets the job done. And it just seems like, to me, even though the Mets would probably love to get him back and very well could, he just seems like a Cardinal to me. And I just love to see it. At number 11, we got Wilson Contreras going to the Detroit Tigers. Whoa, yes, sir. We got that. The Detroit Tigers want to make a splash. From what I've been told, they do want to make a splash. They will be going out and trying to improve that offense. Wilson Contreras, well, maybe not on the defensive side. Yes, on the offensive side will be a huge addition for the Detroit Tigers going forward and reunites them with Javi Baez. Maybe that's something that might help Javi going forward. And number 10, this is one we actually got correct. Ken Rosenthal reporting that Clayton Kershaw returning to the Dodgers on a one-year deal. I mean, this was probably one of the easiest predictions you're going to find. He wasn't going back to Texas. So with him out, who's Texas going to go get? That's now the real question. At number 9, we got Xander Bogaerts going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yes, the Dodgers. I'm not kidding on this one. And for me, I think this is mostly because I don't think they're going to pay Trey Turner everything he wants. And I also think Mookie Betts is going to play a major role in getting his friend Xander Bogaerts to join him with the Dodgers. And I know Red Sox fans will probably cringe at the sight of that. At number 8, we got Justin Verlander going to the New York Yankees. While I do think it's possible he goes to the Astros, if the Yankees are really serious about getting Aaron Judge back, they got to improve that rotation, show it to him. That's where Justin Verlander comes in. If they can go get Verlander, I think Judge, and maybe this is foreshadowing for later, I think Judge will have a stronger case to return to New York. But if they can't get an improvement in that rotation, might be a little bit tougher to convince Judge to stay. But I think the relationship with Garrett Cole on that rotation, I think it's something that the Yankees should get invested in, is going and getting Justin Verlander. At number 7, we got Brandon Nimmo staying with the New York Mets. Look, Uncle Stevie has made it very clear he's keeping Brandon Nimmo and Edwin Diaz. Well, he already kept Edwin Diaz. And if Uncle Stevie wants to keep you, he's going to pay to keep you. Uncle Stevie's not going to lose in a bidding war. So I think it's an easy pick. Brandon Nimmo stays with the New York Mets. At number 6, boom, Carlos Rodon to the New York Mets. Yes, this is foreshadowing. I fully expect Jacob deGrom to walk from the New York Mets this offseason. Where to? That is the question. In that case, I think the Mets go all in on a Carlos Rodon and go and get this guy who has pitched tremendous the last 2 years and would be a dominant force at the front of the rotation with Max Scherzer. Again, Uncle Stevie is not going to lose a bidding war. He will go and get Carlos Rodon and get the payday this man rightfully deserves. At number 5, I got Dansby Swanson staying in Atlanta. Yes, they do have Vaughn Grissom, but the Braves know very well the best thing to have is depth. And Dansby Swanson has earned that contract and is now a fan favorite. I just don't see why they would let him go after the year they had last year. And is a Gold Glover, is a great hitter, fits that lineup beautifully. Why let him walk? Doesn't make sense to me. I think he stays in Atlanta. Plus, I don't think he really wants to leave Atlanta. And number 4, I got Carlos Correa going to the Baltimore Orioles, making one of the best left sides of the infield, and Gunnar Henderson and Carlos Correa. Good luck hitting in that area. I think Correa would fit beautifully at short there, reuniting him with Mike Elias, who made a run at him last year. The Orioles are intent to spend and make a big splash this offseason. I do believe that is Carlos Correa, and I think he helps the Orioles get to the playoffs next year. At number 3, we got Trey Turner going to the Philadelphia Phillies. Yes, with Bogarts going to the Dodgers, I got Trey Turner going to the Phillies, reuniting him with Bryce Harper, who I think will play a major role in getting him. I think the Phillies are intent on spending on someone big that puts them over the hump. You know, Trey Turner's versatility, but his speed and the ability to be a table setter is something that would be so great for the Phillies and would just add another dimension to that offense that they did not have in that World Series last year, and might be something that could get them over the hump. At number 2, I got Jacob deGrom going to the Texas Rangers. That is right. And I have it. Yeah, I've heard some rumors going around that this is very real and very, very possible. And one telling me as much as they may be the favorites in the clubhouse. Texas, I think, is the team to beat. Chris Young is making it very clear that they are serious about competing next year. And the guy to go get, if you're serious about this, is Jacob deGrom. Add him with Martin Perez, Jack Leiter, Kumar Rocker going forward. It is one of the best rotations in baseball, and Texas's future is looking really bright going forward. And obviously, number 1, Aaron Judge staying with the New York Yankees. In this scenario, I got Verlander to Yankees, which I think would play a big role in getting Aaron Judge back because it would show they're serious about winning a World Series. I think at the end of the day, for him to stay in New York, you're going to need to show him something that you're serious about winning a World Series. It ain't about going to the ALCS and losing to Houston anymore. It's about how do you beat Houston. And yes, that captain allure will be very much on his mind. And I think he's going to use that against the Yankees in negotiations to go get the guy that he wants, which is another ace on this team, and then he'll sign. If not, I think he's going to the Bay Area. And there you have it. That's my top 45 free agents with predictions. What'd you guys think? Who did I miss? Where am I right? Where am I wrong? If you're watching on YouTube, please comment below and tell me what you guys think. Make sure to like and subscribe the video. And if you're listening on the podcast, tweet at me at the CLE Sports Guy and let me know what you guys think of my predictions. I know my Guardians fans are going to be like, you're out of your mind that we're spending that much money. But until next time, you guys, I'm out.